Check. Okay. All right, everybody. Welcome to Monday night's version of the Gray State Truth. We're right now waiting on a premiere from Catherine Michelle, who yet again is just going all about this blood on the magazine. Trying to make sure that I have the right microphone up. I feel like it's not picking up for some odd reason. But I guess we'll find out. So, while we're waiting, I'm going to try and fix this and hope that everything is working. Okay. All right. So, we're waiting on a premiere from Catherine Michelle. And she just did a live, like maybe 10, 15 minutes ago. Um, the same video, but without the photos in the video. And she's posting this premiere with the spreadsheet and the pictures. And so I went on and I commented that, scenario could be the reason there's blood on the magazine. We know that there was an unspent bullet on the floor. So, it's pretty logical that, he could have tried to change the, unjam the gun and cut his finger and tried to reload the magazine. And when he did, it got blood on the magazine. Pretty logical explanation. He could have slit his wrist and gotten blood on his hands and tried to load the gun or reload the magazine. Like, there's several scenarios that justify why there's blood on it. What there isn't is someone else's DNA on that magazine or the gun for that matter. And so that's the problem with these people here, that they don't they don't take into account anything else. There is no DNA evidence from anyone else on the gun or on the magazine other than the three people that were in that house. And so make it make sense. You know what I mean? Like, make it make sense because yours really doesn't. I mean, we have, hold on, let me put this here, an unspent bullet on the floor. And David could have cut his finger. Or hand and jamming gun. So we have that scenario. And then we also have David slits his wrist, like in the song Fall Behind that was playing. And David gets blood. So these are all very logical explanations. However, Catherine stated that my scenario doesn't work. But tell me how it doesn't work. let me see. So she hasn't taken this down yet. Let me see if there's any live chat. There's no live chat on here. And so, like, completely logical explanation of what happened. You know, there's literally several scenarios. Hers is the one that doesn't work. And the reason that it doesn't work is there was no one else's DNA on the gun or the magazine. And there was no one else's. So no one else's gun on the, no one else's DNA on the gun or on the magazine. No one else's DNA was on the bullets. And so someone else had loaded those bullets, who would have touched the magazine and would have touched the gun. One of those three items would have had, you know, someone else's DNA on them. But they didn't. And so Kathy's scenario is the one that doesn't work. Why? Because no one else's DNA was on the gun or on the magazine. One of those would have had to have someone else's DNA if they, in fact, did something in that house. Their DNA would be, you know, everywhere, hair, whatever the case may be. There would be some type of DNA that would have been found by the crime scene investigators. Several possible scenarios that would prove it. You know, David could have slit his wrist, like in the song. And David gets blood on the magazine when he's trying to load it. There was an unspent bullet on the floor. David could have cut his finger or hand unjamming the gun. And so, whose scenario? Whose scenario is it that doesn't work? You know, whose is it that doesn't work is the question. I mean, it's pretty sad. I mean, that they continue to do this over and over and over again with just complete nonsense. So we have 3 minutes. There's really nothing that she has on here other than her trying to justify, you know, major and minor contributors, which she obviously doesn't understand herself. You know, you have, when it comes to DNA profiles on evidence, let me see if I can pull this up here. When you have major contributors to a item, someone else was there, then there will also be minor contributors. In this case, David was the major contributor, and Kamel and Rania could not be ruled out as minor contributors. Right, it says possible as possible contributors. All right, and why is that? Okay, let's ask why. All right, so if you have a major contributor to an item, for instance, the gun had the major contributor was David. And Kamel and Rania could not be ruled out as possible contributors. Then that means the only three contributors are David, Kamel, and Rania. It does not say unknown contributors at all, anywhere. Anywhere on that report, it does not say there's unknown contributors on this. And so, again, Kathy's scenario is the one that doesn't work because no one else's DNA was on the gun or on the magazine. You have to understand what a major and a minor contributor is and what a contributor is. If there was someone that did this, then you're going to obviously have someone else's DNA in the house. And there was no one else's DNA anywhere in this scene other than one bullet that had been the one that Ronnie. That was after the crime scene. And I'm not going to type all that up. All right, so again, let's see what all right, so I'm going to stop and then we'll go along. But this is what we're looking at here is these reports. It says here, the major male DNA profile matches David Crowley. The major profile does not match Kamel or Rania. The major profile would not be expected to occur more than once among unrelated individuals in the world population. Rania cannot be excluded from being a possible contributor. It is estimated that 99.996% of the general population can be excluded from being contributors. Kamel is excluded from being a contributor to the mixture. So in this one, you have David, Kamel, and Rania, or David and Rania as the contributors. So she's can't be excluded, but 99.99% of the general population can be excluded. Mixture of two or more individuals. Major DNA profile matches David Timothy Crowley. Major profile does not match Kamel or Rania. The major profile would not be expected to occur more than once among unrelated individuals in the world. Neither one of them can be excluded from being possible contributors. It is estimated that 99.99% of the general population can be excluded from being contributors. Based on less genetic information obtained from the known sample from Rania Crowley, it is estimated that 99.95% 5% of the general population can be excluded. So what does that mean? That means that literally 99.9% are excluded from being contributors. Do you understand that? Like, it's pretty easy to read right here. No one else is a contributor other than these 3 people that were here. And if someone else was here, their DNA would be here too. But 99.99% of the general population are excluded. So make it make sense. Like, make it make sense because your scenario is the one that doesn't work. That she doesn't know how to read, obviously. Okay. Oh my god. Oh god. Mhm. Yes, pay attention to what this idiot is saying because she wants to push her narrative as hard as she can. Mhm. Mhm. And I literally have spent 5 minutes losing brain cells because you're a complete moron that can't, have any type of common sense or look at logical explanations, and that's your biggest problem, is you don't have any common sense or logical explanations to anything. You lie constantly, and we know this because you've lied about many different things that you've done. Um, you are this know-it-all Karen, and it's pretty sad. We're literally in December and very close to the anniversary and very close to the holidays, and yet you people still don't ever give it up. Like, it's absolutely it's disgusting. You're disgusting. You people are just horrible, cold-hearted, inconsiderate people, and I wouldn't even call you people. Again, your scenario makes no sense. There's no one else's DNA in that house or on the gun or on the magazine or anywhere else. The scenarios that do make sense are this and this. You have to understand what a major and a minor contributor is. And yet you can't even look at the report that you have up and read that 99.9% of the general population is excluded. Y- Like, seriously, you need to find some type of life or something because you're ridiculous, you're illogical, you're belligerent. And I really do hope that when you try to push to get this case open and you're proven wrong, that you bring your asses back online and apologize to every single person that you tried to blame because it's starting to get pretty ridiculous. Anyways, I'm gonna get off here because it's late, but I just figured I would hop on here and throw this up because it's pretty ridiculous when we have to continuously go through this nonsense, day in and day out. And people that can't even read a report that says 99.9% of the general population is excluded, but yet you're claiming that someone else, had this gun and did this. You have no common sense. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this stream. Make sure you guys check out the stream from earlier. We did have some technical issues, unfortunately, with the sound again, which I'm currently working on. We're going to get back on it tomorrow and do part 3 and kind of do a quick overview of what we did today. But hopefully, we'll get it together soon. Again, we're pretty new to this Restream software. So, anyways, hope you guys have a good night. I'm headed off to bed, and make sure you guys subscribe and like and follow the Facebook page, Crowley Case Fact versus Fiction, and on YouTube, and also Deep State Granny on YouTube. We'll catch you guys later.